Let me continue with Lions selections then ahead of Warren Gatland's squad, which will be announced next Thursday, 6 days' time as I record this right now. And I feel a lot more comfortable about scrum half than I did about back row, which was seriously tough. The rest of the videos and all the other positions, by the way, are already in the feed. So hit subscribe, like, and all that, and go and check those out. But here we are with scrum halves, and Warren Gatland will take 3 scrum halves, surely, as he did 4 years ago, and as you need when you're running a midweek and a test side as well. And firstly, here are 3 contenders outside of international squads that I thought worthy of consideration, particularly when you think that actually this is one of the weakest areas of the entire squad and the entire side, because there are loads of players that look great on paper but aren't really performing on the field in the way that they're capable of. And so for that reason, I think this will have been one of the positions where Warren Gatland might just want to cast his eyes a little bit further afield just to check there's no one that could do a job in South Africa for him. And I considered John Cooney, Luke McGrath and Danny Care. I've got so much time for John Cooney. I think he's been dealt a pretty rough hand by Ireland, to be perfectly honest. And equally, Luke McGrath for Leinster has been looking really strong. Same goes with Danny Care in the Premiership and, in English domestic rugby. I don't think there is a better scrum half right now. So with that in mind, I chose one of these guys to go through to the next stage of my selection. And as good as the players are, and as much as I rate them, the only one I've considered at this point, Danny Care, and put him together with the other guys that were involved in international squads. And I just want to make it clear, I've got 2 from England, 2 from Wales, 2 from Ireland, just Ali Price from Scotland. And that is because I looked at it, and Ali Price's backup for Scotland currently is Scott Steele. Scott Steele is also Danny Care's backup at Harlequins, and comfortably so. So that's where I felt kind of comfortable to go, I'm only taking Ali Price from Scotland, and I'll put Danny Care in place of Scott Steele, who is the understudy for Danny Care after all at club level. So Dan Robson and Ben Youngs for England, Thomas Williams and Gareth Davis for Wales, Jamison Gibson-Park and Conor Murray for Ireland. And as I say, there's been really very few of these players that have been playing their very best game. I would say Thomas Williams is probably the exception. His story coming from, being a relatively late bloomer into the game of rugby, pretty meteoric rise from the Championship and lower levels through to the international stage, and now being considered a genuine consideration for the British and Irish Lions, just says what an outstanding time of it he's had. I found it relatively easy to make the next cull here, and the names I got rid of: Dan Robson, Dan Robson, Jamison Gibson-Park. Neither of those guys are able to push anyone else out of the jersey, in my opinion. Jamison Gibson-Park, he did start brilliantly in the Six Nations, but he was prone to the odd little error, and I think it was quite telling that Conor Murray came back in and performed so well in that victory over England. And who was the other one? Oh yeah, Dan Robson. Yeah, that's fine. Great player. Danny Care as well. I very much considered him, but at this stage I thought I'm not going to put him above the guys that I have in my squad at this point. So 3 scrum halves. There are 2 easier selections for me. I wouldn't have been saying this a few months ago. Conor Murray was not in good form. However, towards the end of the Six Nations, he looked really, really strong. His kicking game is outstanding, and I think that's going to be massive in terms of South Africa. You need to be able to control the tempo and the territory on the field. When South Africa get up ahead of steam and they dominate territory, they're an absolute nightmare to play against. So I think Conor Murray is going to be absolutely essential. Gareth Davis as well, I pick him. And again, what I quite like about that pair as a bit of balance is you've got the control of Conor Murray. Gareth Davis has got a reasonably good kicking game, but he's got that explosive element. He can threaten around the base a little bit, and I like that. So those 2 go for me. And then it's one other of Ali Price, Ben Youngs and Thomas Williams. And I can see this going one of 2 ways. The people that didn't like Hamish Watson not getting selected in my back row won't like that I eliminate Ali Price from this discussion for the 3rd spot on the plane. I see this going one of 2 ways. Ben Youngs, is the third scrum half, and he's much maligned, Ben Youngs, by me and JB and Phil on Eggchasers quite a lot. We make quite a few jokes about the stinker of a game he is prone to having from time to time. I think you have to recognise he's got over 100 caps of international experience, and you don't get that by fluke, and you don't get that by a number of different coaches if you're not genuinely outstanding. And he is prone, as well as prone to having a stinker, he's prone to having an absolute world-class, unplayable kind of game. You also have to... I wonder if it comes down to a 50-50 call, I wonder if this will be in Warren Gatland's head. What happened 4 years ago when Ben Youngs was selected by Warren Gatland to tour New Zealand, pulled out quite late so that he could support his brother, whose wife had cancer at the time, and it looked like it was she only had months to live. A really heartbreaking story for Ben Youngs, and I just wonder if there's a 50-50 call to be made, whether that might just be in the back of Warren Gatland's mind. Now, to be clear, if Ben Young goes, I see him going as the third scrum half. Conor Murray, number 1. Gareth Davis, number 2. This could change with form, obviously. That's as I see it for a test start. Ben Youngs, I think, would be a great character for your midweek side. Good guy, good squad guy, very experienced, and I think would be worthy of that spot. I could also see it going, and this might be where I come down on, to be honest, as much as sentiment would certainly play a part with Ben Youngs, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the squad. I really like Thomas Williams. He's kind of got a bit of the balance between Conor Murray and Gareth Davis, does a bit of either of them. And yeah, looked good when he started for Wales and has been great. So I think Warren Gatland will go like that. I'm going to say, as much as the sentiment and the story is important, that's my selection for scrum half for the British and Irish Lions. Right, we're getting into the back line now, and I'll see you on the next one.